We are live. I think I'll begin. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Honor to him, the blessed one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. My utmost respect to the perfectly enlightened Samma Sambuddha, the noble doctrine of the Buddha, and the noble Mahasangha, the disciples of the Buddha. Hello, dear Dhamma friends. Welcome to day 5 of our special Dhamma Talk series with Venerable Palmadulle Vijitanandabhivamsa, the Vice Secretary of the IIT and Head of the Pali, Sanskrit and Prakrit Department. This collaborated effort by Dhamma USA and IIT is going to open up more horizons of Dhamma knowledge among our community. Please mark your calendar every Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and 8 p.m. Sri Lanka and Indian Standard Time to get benefited more. Kindly check with Dhamma USA and IIT YouTube channels and Facebook pages for more updates. Today's topic is Metta, loving kindness. Kindly post your questions in the comment sections of your YouTube channel so that we can answer them at the end of the talk. Without further delay, let me invite Venerable Vijitanandabhivamsa to start his Dhamma sharing on Metta. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, thank you, Poonam, for your introduction. And may I have permission from the Most Venerable Mahasangha who is listening to this Dhamma talk. And I also would like to thank Most Venerable Bhante Sumitta, who is the organizer and the president of Dhamma USA. Okay, let's start the Dhamma talk by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so today is the fifth day of the Dhamma Talk series conducted by Dhamma USA in collaboration with IIT, International Institute of Theravada. So my teacher, Venerable Maggavihari Thero, conducted 4 Dhamma Talks in previous weeks about many different topics, important topics that are discussed in Theravada. One they discussed about Noble Eightfold Path, and also he discussed about 4 causes of accomplishment, Iddhipada, and 4-fold refuges, that means Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and Kamma. And also in the last lecture, he discussed about the cycle of rebirth. So I chose a seemingly simple but immensely beneficial topic for all of us. That is Metta, or loving kindness. As Buddhists, if you are close to Buddhism, if you often listen to Dhamma talks and read Buddhist texts, I'm sure you have heard about loving kindness, and maybe you have practiced loving kindness before. Because loving kindness is a very popular topic in Buddhism, not only Theravada Buddhism, but also Buddhism as a whole. So before discussing about loving kindness, before learning about loving kindness, let us take a look at where this topic is situated or located in Theravada Buddhism, because it's always good to know when we study about particular topic, it's always good to know where it is located in the particular discipline or particular field. So loving kindness or metta is mainly discussed or mainly taught by Lord Buddha in the Four Noble Abidings or Brahma Vihara in Pali. Brahma Vihara. So there are there are 4 such Brahma Viharas. We call in English Four Noble Abidings. So they are metta, which is loving kindness, our topic today. And the second one is karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy, and upekha, equanimity. So there are 4 noble abidings. Why we call them noble abidings or Brahma Vihara in Pali? Because these, all of them are emotions. Loving kindness is emotion, compassion is an emotion, sympathetic joy is an emotion, and equanimity also is a type of emotion. So all of these emotions are noble ways, good ways, wholesome ways to spend our time with. If someone spend his time with loving kindness, if someone can spend his whole life with loving kindness, then his life is a noble life according to Buddhism. Not only according to Buddhism, but obviously it is a noble life. Because we all accept that these wholesome qualities such as loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy are good qualities, wholesome qualities. If everyone possesses such qualities, then the world can become a better place, right? So if someone can spend his time, spend his day and night with these emotions, with these qualities, then his day becomes a noble day. His time becomes noble. His life becomes noble. So we call them noble abidings, noble ways to spend your time. So those 4 noble abidings, so Brahma Vihara is the main place or the most popular place where loving kindness is discussed. Another place is that 40 samatha meditation techniques. We know that in Theravada Buddhism there are 40 meditation techniques to develop your concentration. You can also call them subjects of meditation that can be used to develop your concentration. In Pali we call them samatha. So loving kindness, so metta meditation, metta bhavana is one of them. So when you, if you go to a meditation center and start practicing meditation, probably your teacher will, if you are practicing samatha, of course, your teacher will guide you to develop loving kindness meditation. And in nowadays, even in the Western world, this loving kindness meditation is practiced and discussed. There are several studies, dozens of studies where in fields such as psychology, this loving kindness meditation is studied. The effects of loving kindness meditation to our lives, for our well-being and happiness are studied. So as a meditation practice, loving kindness meditation, loving kindness is discussed in Theravada Buddhism. This is another place where loving kindness is there. So another place where loving kindness is discussed, metta, is discussed in the popular discourse, popular sutta called as Karaniya Mattha Sutta. Karaniya Mattha Sutta. In Sri Lanka, we recite almost every day because it's very popular in Sri Lanka and also in other Theravada Buddhist countries such as Myanmar. So in Karaniya Mattha Sutta, Lord Buddha has explained loving kindness meditation. Because of that, this sutta is also called as Metta Sutta. This sutta is also called as Metta Sutta because of that. So this is another place where loving kindness is discussed. So in Theravada Buddhism, we can find this topic especially in among the 4 noble abidings, Brahma Vihara, and also among the 40 samatha meditation techniques, and also especially in the Karaniya Matta Sutta, which is a very popular sutta in Theravada Buddhism. And there are many other suttas, many other discourses, hundreds of discourses where Lord Buddha has advised monks or his followers to develop loving kindness and to cultivate this noble quality. So that is the location of loving kindness. Now let's focus on loving kindness. What is loving kindness? So before focusing on this topic, I would like to give you a few seconds, about a minute, to do an exercise, a simple exercise. Just close your eyes and try to think according to your knowledge so far, according to what you have learned so far. Try to figure out what is loving kindness. Take about 5 to 10 seconds for that, and then try to spread loving kindness towards someone, anyone. You can choose anyone. Just 1 minute. Let's start the exercise and then come to the Dhamma talk again. Just 1 minute. Okay, thank you for doing that. It's always okay to start the Dhamma talk, start the discussion with curiosity, right? With the real will or desire or consent to learn about the topic we discuss in the Dhamma talk. So what could you figure out? Could you figure out what is loving kindness? Can you put what you figured out into words, and could you spread genuine loving kindness towards someone? So probably if you are a person close to Buddhism, you could do that, but there can be some who could not do that, or who had some doubts how to do this. So what is exactly loving kindness? So let's learn what is loving kindness. Loving kindness is, in simple words, love. It is love, but love which is not mixed with unwholesome emotions. Because the English term love is used to refer to many different types of emotions. Sometimes even for lust, we use the term love, right? Let's say you love your partner or spouse, then maybe the most prominent emotion there is attachment or lust, or you have clinged to that person, but still we call that love. And sometimes let's say there is you see a cute boy or girl, a toddler, and we call it a loving one, right? You will explain your emotion as love. But what was there? Maybe you wanted to touch him or her, or maybe you wanted to give a kiss at on his or her neck or forehead. So is that loving kindness? It is. There can be loving kindness there, but it is also a mixture of emotions. There can be unwholesome emotions, bad emotions. And take for an example a mother, the mother's emotions towards her son or daughter. We call it love. A mother loves her child. So obviously, in that place also, that is a mixture of emotions. Mother can have compassion towards her son, loving kindness towards her son, sometimes joy when her son succeeds. And also, she obviously has attachment towards her son. So all those emotions, all together, these emotions are called as love in English. But loving kindness, the emotion we discuss in Buddhism as loving kindness, is something pure, something genuine. It is not mixed with any unwholesome qualities. Unwholesome, by the term unwholesome, I refer to the bad ones, not pure ones. So the true love, which is not mixed with unwholesome or bad emotions, the pure love or the genuine love, is called as loving kindness. In other words, the love which is very close to kindness. So that is loving kindness. And the term for loving kindness in Pali is Metta. Metta. What is the meaning of this term Metta? There are two meanings explained in the scriptures. The first meaning is Metta is the emotion in a Abhidharmic viewpoint. It is a mental factor, Chetasika. For the Abhidhamma learners, it is the Adosa Chetasika, the Chetasika mental factor, which is called as Adosa. So that Adosa itself is called as Metta when it behaves as a love towards someone. Adosa, the mental factor which is called as Adosa, can behave in other ways also. Let's say whenever you do a meritorious deed, when you listen to this Dhamma talk, when you worship Lord Buddha, or when you learn Dhamma, or when you treat your parents, everywhere Adosa should be there. The mental factor called as Adosa should be there. Adosa is the opposite of aversion, opposite of anger. So that mental factor should be there always when you do any meritorious deed. But every Adosa is not loving kindness. Adosa becomes loving kindness when Adosa behaves as loving someone, loving in a genuine way, in a pure way. So in Abhidharmic viewpoint, that is Metta or loving kindness. The mental factor called as Adosa is Metta. So the Pali term Metta has two meanings. The first meaning is the tenderness, the softness, the smoothness in the mind. That is the meaning of the Pali term Metta. Mijjati iti Metta, Mijjati sinihati iti Metta. That is the Pali definition for Metta. So whenever you have loving kindness towards someone, you should feel a smooth feeling within your heart. You should have a tenderness within your heart towards that person. So loving kindness make you tender. Loving kindness make you smooth and soft. So this is one reason for this emotion to be called as Metta. The other reason is in Pali, mittesu bhava metta. The friendliness, the state of being a friend is called as metta. So metta comes from the Pali term mitta. Mitta is friend, right? Mitta in Sinhala and Sanskrit, it is mitra. So mitta becomes metta, the state of being a pure, genuine friend. If you have a genuine friend, if you have a friend that you will direct us as a true friend, real friend, a friend loved by you, then what do you think about his emotions towards yourself? He will always be happy to see you happy. He will always wish you to be healthy. He will always wish you to succeed. And what about yourself? You will also, for sure, wish his or her happiness, healthiness, success. So this emotion that is there in friends is called as metta, friendliness, the state of being a genuine friend. So that is the emotion we are discussing today, loving kindness. So this loving kindness is not something introduced to the world by Lord Buddha. It is always there in the world. We all experience this emotion in our day-to-day life. As I mentioned earlier, a mother have a genuine loving kindness towards her son or daughter. Same with the father, and friends often develop loving kindness unintentionally towards their friends, and relatives each other tend to have loving kindness towards their relatives. Neighbors tend to have loving kindness towards their neighbors. So loving kindness is not something hidden. It's not a topic which is hidden or introduced to the world by Lord Buddha. It is always there in the world. It is always, we can experience loving kindness within ourselves. But it is very important to learn about this emotion and to cultivate this emotion within ourselves. And that is why Lord Buddha advised his followers to cultivate loving kindness, to cultivate metta. It is immensely beneficial for ourselves. So why is it immensely beneficial? Why should we cultivate metta, loving kindness? Why did Lord Buddha advise us to cultivate loving kindness? Because there are various benefits that we can experience in our day-to-day life, not in afterlife, not after death, or not after attaining Nibbana, but in our day-to-day life, there are dozens of benefits that you can experience. When you have true loving kindness towards someone, the first benefit you will have is that you will experience a genuine feeling, genuine emotion towards him or her. And that itself is satisfactory. You can be even satisfied with that feeling. In the world full of people with ungenuine feelings towards each other, if you can have genuine love towards someone, even with that, you can be satisfied with yourself. And you will enjoy having that feeling. And after all, it is a wholesome quality which is praised by Lord Buddha, which is praised by noble people who have lived in the world. Metta, loving kindness, is always praised. It is always advised to develop loving kindness by the noble people. Not only in Buddhism, but also in Christianity and Islam, Hinduism, and many religions in the world. this noble quality is praised. So Lord Buddha also praises this quality, and he guides his followers to develop, cultivate this quality. So when you develop this quality, you are praiseworthy by the noble persons in the world. And because since it is a wholesome emotion, as you develop loving kindness, simultaneously you are developing other wholesome qualities. Because when you develop a wholesome quality, many other wholesome qualities follow with each of them. If you develop mindfulness, many other wholesome qualities such as confidence, effort, wisdom will follow mindfulness. If you develop wisdom, then surely mindfulness will be there, effort will be there, and confidence will be there. By confidence, I refer to saddha. And if you develop saddha, the other wholesome qualities will follow saddha. Likewise, when you develop loving kindness, other wholesome qualities such as confidence, effort, right effort, and mindfulness, and also wisdom will follow your loving kindness. So if you determine to develop, cultivate loving kindness within yourself, at the same time you are determining to cultivate all other wholesome qualities, because we know in Patthana, in Abhidharma, the 7th book of Patthana, Lord Buddha has taught about Upanisaya, the power, the influence called as Upanisaya. Upanisaya means when you develop a wholesome quality, that wholesome quality can influence many other wholesome qualities to appear in your mind. So that is called as Upanisaya. If you develop loving kindness within yourself, many other wholesome qualities will eventually appear in yourself, within yourself. Not only other wholesome qualities, but loving kindness itself tend to develop, tend to improve within yourself. So if you determine, or if you start to develop loving kindness, then that means you are determining to improve yourself in the wholesome path, in the path towards the liberation, if you also have that intention. And also according to the karma, as you learned in the previous discussions, loving kindness itself is a kusala kamma, we can say. Kusala kamma, the term karma or kamma is especially referred to the chetana. But whenever loving kindness is there, kusala chetana should be there. So if you have loving kindness within yourself, you are accumulating kusala karmas, the wholesome deeds, meritorious deeds, and it eventually will lead you, give you fruits that can be enjoyed. And also loving kindness as a meditation can be utilized as a foundation for vipassana. Someone can develop loving kindness as a meditation, and then he can shift to vipassana later on. So loving kindness has many such benefits if you can develop it within yourself. So as I mentioned earlier, loving kindness is already within yourself. It is there in yourself. But what we have to do is to make it improved. We have to make the conditions so that loving kindness improves within ourselves. The improvement of loving kindness, improvement of any wholesome quality is a great benefit for ourselves. So that is the importance of loving kindness. So loving kindness as a meditation, actually I'm discussing about loving kindness as a whole, not specifically I'm focusing on the meditation. I'm discussing as a whole, but in loving kindness meditation technique, the Buddha has guided us to develop loving kindness gradually, step by step. But as I mentioned, the appearance of loving kindness does not always need loving kindness meditation. Without doing the meditation, without reciting some statements, some texts in your mind, without reciting anything such as may he be happy or may she be happy, you can have loving kindness. You can develop loving kindness. You can experience loving kindness if you, with a genuine mind, if you can help someone, if you can advise someone, if you can give something to someone who is in need. Everywhere, loving kindness works. Loving kindness is there. But if you really want to improve this quality, if you really want to improve this emotion so that you can enjoy with that emotion, so that you can spend a satisfactory life, then it is advised to develop loving kindness as a meditation. So let's focus for a few minutes on loving kindness meditation. If you want to develop loving kindness as a meditation, I will later focus on developing loving kindness without doing meditation. But first, let's focus on the meditation. If you want to develop loving kindness as a meditation, then what you have to do is you have to spread loving kindness first toward yourself. Because the reason is that loving kindness is wishing other people to be happy, to be healthy, to be succeed in their lives, to have all the conditions to spend their lives happily, healthily, successfully. That is loving kindness, the true wish for someone else to be happy. So to cultivate that genuine wish towards others, we have to first cultivate that wish towards ourselves. So in scriptures such as Visuddhimagga, the path to purification, the reason is shown as, reason for spreading loving kindness towards yourself is shown as, it stands as a proof. When you spread loving kindness towards yourself, you can understand that you sincerely wish your happiness. You want yourself to be happy. You want yourself to be healthy. You want yourself to be successful in your life. You want yourself to be wealthy. You want yourself to have many friends. You want all these good things or all this welfare to happen to yourself. Likewise, you can imagine about others. As I like myself, as I wish myself to be happy and healthy and successful, every other being in this world, every other person in this world wish themselves to be happy. They want their happiness. They want their healthiness. They want their lives to be successful. So to have the genuine feeling of loving kindness towards others, first we keep ourselves as a proof. So that is why we spread loving kindness towards ourselves. So this is how it is explained in the scriptures, but there can be another reason. Nowadays, even in Western world, we discuss about self-love, loving yourself, because many people nowadays lack self-love. People struggle to deal with themselves. If I tell you to sit somewhere quietly and reflect on yourself, think about yourself, how many of you would be able to do that for about 15 minutes? You will have many bad feelings about yourselves. You will have aspects you hate about yourself. You will see many negative things about yourselves. So that is obviously the lack of self-love. By self-love, I mean the genuine love, the wholesome love, the pure love, not the attachment towards yourself, because that attachment, the unwholesome attachments, is there in every and each being. It is a fundamental in Buddhism, right? Every and each being, every and each person is attached to themselves. We call it tanha. And because of tanha, because of that attachment, we have to, the cycle of rebirth continues. If we do not have that attachment or clinging to ourselves, then we will not be reborn again. So I'm not referring to that attachment, I'm not referring to that clinging, I'm not referring to the lust, I'm referring to the pure love, the genuine love. For example, as we learned, the love a true friend has towards his or her friend, the love that a mother has towards her son. So if you can have that love towards yourself, that is the true self-love. That is a wholesome type of self-love. You will start to forgive yourself. You will start to see the positive sides of yourself. You will start to make yourself improve if you have true self-love. So in Buddhism, it is taught, it is guided to improve self-love first before spreading love towards others. So that is the beginning of Metta Bhavana, loving kindness meditation. So what you have to do is to reflect on yourself and wish your happiness. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be successful. Or you can use words such as, may I be full of happiness. May I be filled with healthiness. May I succeed in each and every endeavor in my life. So while you are cultivating self-love, you will obviously have many negative emotions. Many negative emotions will try to be obstacles to you. They will behave as obstacles for your practice. So you have to deal with them. You have to accept them. You have to accept those negative emotions, and without fighting with them, just accept those negative emotions as they are, because every and each one of us have negative emotions towards ourselves. So accept them as they are. And let's say if you have you have many negative sides with yourself, and you tell them with your friend, with your real friend, best friend, what he or she will do. He or she will try to console you. He will try to talk about the positive sides of you. He will try to make you ignore your negative sides and focus on your positive sides. So this very thing we have to do by ourselves, for ourselves. So that is cultivating self-love. That is cultivating self-love. And after doing this, after spreading love towards ourselves, then we have to spread this same emotion, same love towards someone that we respect, towards someone that is dear to us. So it is instructed not to cultivate love, not to cultivate loving kindness towards people, actually towards four kinds of people. The first type is the people who are not dear to you. There can be people who are, you don't hate them, but they are also not dear to you. You don't like them either. So you should not start your practice with such people, because it is difficult to spread love towards such people. And you also should not start with people who are very lovely, people who are attached to. Because if you start with them, let's say if you start with your partner, to develop to cultivate the loving kindness meditation, you will end up having lust, or you will end up developing the attachment towards him or her. So you should not choose people who you are attached to, and also you should not use people as the object of loving kindness meditation who are neutral to you, who you neither like nor dislike. You should not use such people who are neutral, and you should not cultivate loving kindness meditation at the beginning towards the people who are hostile, who you consider as your enemies, if you have any. So this we have to we should not start the meditation practice with these 4 types of people, and it is instructed to start the practice with someone you respect and someone who is dear to you. In Pali, Priya, someone who is dear to you at the same time. Then you can develop the loving kindness meditation easily. It is also not recommended to start the meditation towards the opposite gender. If you choose if you are male, and if you choose someone female as your object of loving kindness in the beginning, you will, as I mentioned, you will end up with attachment. You will end up with developing attachment. So there is a story in the scriptures, Pali scriptures. There was a man who asked for a meditation technique from his close monk, from a Thero, and he instructed him to do loving kindness meditation. And he further asked, whom should I spread love first? Whom should I cultivate loving kindness first? So the venerable monk did not explain it comprehensively, but he just told, you have to start with someone who is dear to you, because that's true, right? You have to start with someone who is dear to you, not very much dear, not someone hostile, not someone neutral, but someone dear and someone who you respect. So after hearing this, that man went to his room and locked his room, and he had observed precepts, and he had determined to practice meditation whole night. What he did was he chose his spouse, his wife, as the object of the meditation practice. And as he tried to spread loving kindness towards his wife, what happened was lust arose within himself. The attachment appeared within himself, and he had to struggle whole night because of that defilement that arose in his mind. So you should not start loving kindness practice with someone who is in opposite gender. And another type of people whom you should not start the meditation with, or you should not spread loving kindness, is people who are already dead. If the object is not existing, you will not be able to develop loving kindness, because when you spread loving kindness, there begins to have a connection, a mental connection, which cannot be explained physically, within yourself and the object of your loving kindness. If you spread loving kindness to your friend, there will be a connection with you and your friend at the time you cultivate loving kindness meditation. And as a result, his or her mind starts to become soft, become tender. That is because of the connection of our minds. So if the object is not existing, if he or she is dead, then you will not be able to cultivate loving kindness meditation. You can just do it. There will be loving kindness, but you will not be able to proceed in the meditation practice. So you have to start with someone you respect, someone who is dear to you. Let's say you have a very good teacher that you love not in the means of lust or attachment, but you love in a respectful manner, who has true qualities and who loves you, who has helped you a lot. You can choose such a person at the beginning, and then what you have to do is you have to spread loving kindness to him or her. So you can close your eyes and try to imagine, try to see his or her face in front of you in your mind. And it is also recommended to see his or her face as smiling, as having happiness, as experiencing happiness. You can think of a moment where your teacher or anyone who you choose to spread love and kindness, you can think of a time when he or she was happy, smiling or laughing with you. And then seeing at that image, looking at that picture in your mind, you have to genuinely wish him or her to be happy. You can use statements such as, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be full of happiness, may you be filled with healthiness, may you be successful, may your wishes come true. You can use any such statement, but don't use statements which can condition your defilements to appear. If you think about food and drinks and many other things, many other sensual pleasures, then there is a possibility for your defilement such as lobha to appear during your meditation practice. So don't use such statements. You can use other statements such as, just as, may you be happy. You can just select one statement among them that that fits to you. Maybe may you be happy is the statement that fits, or may you be full of happiness will be the statement that fits. You can choose any such statement. And then what you have to do is you have to remind yourself that you are doing this genuinely, because sometimes we tend to recite such statements within our mind, but we are not genuinely reciting it, genuinely doing it, genuinely wishing it. If you are not genuinely wishing it, then that is not loving kindness. That is just reciting a mantra. So to have true loving kindness, you have to do it genuinely, sincerely. So in Karaniya Matta Sutta, the Metta, or in other terms, Metta Sutta, Lord Buddha has given an example. Mata yatha niyang puttang ayusa eka putta manurakke evam pi sabba bhutesu mana sambhavaye aparimanang. Mata yatha niyang puttang, like a mother, like a mom who has only one son, protects her son with her whole life. If a loving and caring mother has only one son, she will not have expectations even about her life. She will do everything to protect her son. She will do everything she can to make her son successful. She will genuinely love her son. So this is the way, this is the manner we should love people. This is the manner we should cultivate love and kindness. So please have this example. Please keep this example in your mind. When you develop love and kindness, you should be like a mother who has only one son. Because in most of the time, we just recite these statements such as, may you be happy. In Pali, avera hontu, abhyapajja hontu, anigha hontu, sukhi attanam pariharantu. We tend to recite these statements, but we tend to lack true loving kindness. So you have to remind yourself again and again that you should be sincere, you should be genuine when you cultivate loving kindness towards someone. Another thing to focus here is that why are we starting with just one person? In Karaniya Mattha Sutta, it is mentioned by Buddha as Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta. May all the beings be happy. May all the beings in the world be happy. We also tend to cultivate loving kindness meditation using this statement. May all the beings in the world be happy. But the thing is that the statement mentioned here by Lord Buddha is not for the beginners. It is when the absorption or the jhana state is there. When you have developed loving kindness up to the jhana state, up to the high level of concentration, then you can of course develop or cultivate loving kindness towards all the beings in the world. But at the beginning, if you do so, you will just recite it, but you will not have it in your mind. Because you can recite this sentence 100 times or 1,000 times, but if I asked you, if you ask yourself that whether do you love every and each one you know, there can be many friends, there can be many relatives and neighbors. You can take one by one and ask yourself, do you love him or her? Can you really cultivate loving kindness towards him or her? Then you will have different answers from yourself, right? So the thing is that it is not effective to spread loving kindness towards all the beings at the beginning. So you have to start it with just with one person. You have to choose one person and then spread loving kindness wholeheartedly. You can do it. You should do it again and again for many days. When you feel that the true love, true caring, true loving kindness is there for him or her within yourself, then you can shift to another person, another such person, and you can gradually develop like this. So I would like to advise you, I would like to recommend you to do practice love and kindness meditation this way, and you will surely have improvement. You will surely experience improvement within few days. Just take 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day. If you don't have time, just take 5 minutes a day and do this practice, do this exercise. Just first start with yourself and then take one person who is dear to you, who you love and who you are not attached to. I mean, attached very much. There can be a tiny attachment towards anyone that we know, but it should not be your partner or someone like that you have lust and strong attachment to. And then do this for a few days and you will experience for sure the true loving kindness within yourself, and you will feel very calm. You will feel the tenderness within yourself. You will feel that softness within yourself, and that is the true loving kindness. Then try to develop that feeling, that emotion towards people, as many as you can. Then you can gradually develop loving kindness towards all the beings. So here, something else to learn is that the object of metta, the object of loving kindness. What is the object of loving kindness? It is not any ultimate truth. We know that in Abhidhamma we learn about ultimate truths, about mind, about mental factors, and about material things, about rupas, right? So in some meditation practices, we have to focus on the ultimate truth. In Vipassana, of course, we try to understand the ultimate truth of the world. But in loving kindness meditation, our object of the meditation is always a conventional truth. Conventional truth. Because in many Dhamma talks and in many Dhamma books, we learn that there is no any self in the world. There is no someone that can be called as a self or a being or an animal. There are only some realities that exist in the world. But if you keep this in your mind and try to spread loving kindness, you will not succeed. You cannot spread loving kindness towards inanimate things. You cannot spread loving kindness towards a tree. You cannot spread loving kindness towards a chair. Likewise, you cannot spread loving kindness towards ultimate realities. You should spread loving kindness towards beings, towards animals, towards people. So people or animals or beings, all these are conventional truths. They are truths in the convention of the world. But in the ultimate sense, they are not truths. But it is not a matter in the mind in the loving kindness meditation practice. So the object of loving kindness is always a conventional truth, a being or a group of beings, a group of people. So that is how you can cultivate loving kindness in your as a meditation practice. So I invite you to start this practice. If you haven't done this, just do this for a few days and experience that joy you can experience from yourself, within yourself. That joy does not depend on something else. That joy, that genuine emotion is not dependent on a external element, external material. Usually to be happy, we always have to search for external things, right? We need people with us. We need many material things with us in order to be happy. But wholesome qualities such as loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy, obviously any wholesome quality gives you happiness, gives you joy without being dependent on external things. So try to experience this joy that is dependent on yourself, not dependent on external things. So that is in short, in brief, the loving kindness meditation practice. But is it necessary to do the meditation practice in order to experience loving kindness? Can't you cultivate loving kindness with the help of other methods? Aren't there any other methods to develop loving kindness? Obviously, there are methods. Loving kindness meditation is not the only way to develop loving kindness, but it is I would say it is the fastest way and the easiest way. If you can focus on loving kindness for few minutes a day, you will for sure experience a good level of loving kindness within yourself within few days. So maybe while practicing loving kindness meditation, you can also do some other things in your day-to-day life. Let me give an example. If you can if you can free yourself for few minutes and sit somewhere quietly and take a paper and a pen, and you can think, if you can think of ways that you can contribute to the happiness of your friend, if you can make a list of things that you can do to make your friend happier or make him healthier or make him succeed in his life, then while doing this experience, you will surely have loving kindness. That is developing loving kindness, because you cannot do this without loving kindness. Not only a friend, but take a family member and do this exercise. Think of ways by which you can promote his happiness. You will easily develop loving kindness. At the start of the day, in the morning, sit on your bed and try to think of ways by which you can make your family happy. How you can contribute to the happiness of your family. Maybe you can go to your partner and maybe tell something that can make him or her happy in the morning, in the start of the day. Or there can be many other ways that you can make your family members happy each and every day without spending money. You just have to give a thought on them. If you do this exercise, you will surely cultivate loving kindness towards your family members. Time to time, you can do this exercise towards your other friends, towards your neighbors and relatives. So there can be such other ways by which you can develop loving kindness. The Buddha has also guided such ways of cultivating loving kindness. In many suttas, he has mentioned about Metta Kaya Kamma, Metta Vachi Kamma, and Metta Mano Kamma. Metta Kaya Kammam Pachupatthitang Hoti. Metta Vachi Kammam Pachupatthitang Hoti. Metta Mano Kammam Pachupatthitang Hoti. So, if you can help someone with a genuine heart, with the intention to make him or her happy, with the intention to make him or his or her life easier, then that is Metta Kaya Kamma, the actions you can do with Metta. You can help your partner in his daily works. You can help your children, or children can help their parents. You can help your neighbor. You can help your relatives. You can help your friends with the help of your body. So all these are called as Metta Kaya Kamma, the actions you can do by your body with loving kindness. If you develop the habit of helping others, but remember with a genuine loving kindness, not with the intention of getting something back, that is not loving kindness. People often help each other with the hidden intention to getting something back, expecting something back. That is not loving kindness. Loving kindness never expects anything back. So this is a way to differentiate loving kindness with other unwholesome emotions. Even lust expect something from your partner. Every and each attachment, if it is an attachment, unwholesome attachment, a bad attachment, akusala attachment, you are expecting something from the other side, from your friend or from anyone who you have attachment on. True loving kindness does not expect anything from the other side. It is just giving love, not expecting love, not getting back love. You are just spreading love with a true and genuine heart without any expectation. That is true loving kindness. So when you do Metta Kaya Kamma, the actions with loving kindness, you have to keep in mind, you should be genuine, you should be sincere. You should not be someone who is expecting from others. Your Metta Kaya Kamma, your Kaya Kamma should be truly full of Metta, loving kindness. Metta Vachi Kamma, words full of Metta. When you talk, you can use words that can make the other person happy. When you talk with your friend, you can use words that can make him or her happy. Even the intention of making him or her happy with your words is loving kindness, is filled with loving kindness. And you can, in the early morning, you can, when you say good morning to someone, you can do that wish with a genuine heart, and there will be loving kindness as a result. So with every and each word you use with your mouth, you speak with your mouth, you can cultivate loving kindness. So cultivating loving kindness is not limited to meditation. It is not limited to sitting meditation, but if you, in your day-to-day life, if you can speak words that can make others happy, make others feel good about themselves, that can make others improve, make others successful, if you can guide someone else to improve in their career or in their education, if you help someone by teaching something, everywhere there will be loving kindness. So you can easily cultivate loving kindness with the use of your words that you often use without a purpose. And Metta Manokamma is developing, cultivating loving kindness with your mind. That is obviously the loving kindness meditation is a part of Metta Manokamma. If you can sit somewhere quietly and take some time, as I mentioned, about 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day. If you have time, obviously, you can do half an hour or even up to 1 hour. Then you are wishing others happiness by your mind. That is Metta Manokamma. The meritorious deed you can do with your mind that is full of loving kindness. Metta Manokamma. And even without the intention of doing loving kindness meditation, if you can truly wish others happiness, every such wish is loving kindness, the wholesome quality called as loving kindness. Let's say in your day-to-day life, while you are walking on the road, you meet people and you can have a smile in your face and you can genuinely wish them to be happy. Just while you are passing someone, wish may this person be filled with happiness. May his life be successful. That is spreading loving kindness. That is cultivating this wholesome emotion. When you wake up in the morning, try to wish your family members to be happy, to be healthy. That is loving kindness. When you are talking with someone, have this genuine emotion, try to bear this genuine emotion in your mind, then your conversation will be much successful. When you have to meet someone, maybe a stranger or someone you know, before the meeting, you can spread loving kindness towards him or her or that group of people, then your meeting will be much successful because you have true emotions. You have genuine love towards them. So that is how you can develop this quality called as loving kindness in your daily life without even doing the loving kindness meditation. So by developing this emotion, by developing this wholesome quality, you will feel much better about yourself and you will improve obviously in your Dhamma path. Because if you can remember, loving kindness or metta is not just another mental quality. It is not just another wholesome quality, but it is one of the 10 perfections. We know that there are 10 perfections. So Dasa Parami, Parami is translated as perfections. So a bodhisattva, a being who is destined to be a Buddha one day, has to develop these 10 perfections throughout his samsara. I mean, in many lives, in hundreds of thousands of lives. So loving kindness or metta is one of these perfections. We know there are dana, sila, nekkhamma, panya, virya, and so on. The 9th perfection is metta. Metta, loving kindness, is a perfection. If you develop loving kindness with a genuine heart, then even being a Buddha is possible, because loving kindness is a perfection that leads to Buddhahood. If you do not have the intention to be a Buddha, then it will lead you to the Pacceka Buddhahood, or just to attain Nibbana as a normal Arahant. Loving kindness is always beneficial. There is no loving kindness that is not beneficial. Every and each time you wish someone to be happy, healthy, and succeed with true heart, every and each of that thought is beneficial for you, because every and each of those thoughts can influence yourself to have more and more loving kindness. Not only loving kindness, as I mentioned earlier, because of the Upanishad Pachaya, you will improve as a whole by wholesome thoughts. You will have many and many wholesome thoughts in your mind because of the loving kindness practice you do. So, because the time is limited, I have to stop the Dhamma talk by here. So you can have time to ask your questions. And while the Q&A session, I will discuss more about loving kindness. So I invite you all to study about this wholesome emotion. This is immensely beneficial for ourselves. As I mentioned, this is seemingly a very simple topic and very popular topic, not a profound topic. But if you can have true loving kindness, it is a bliss. It is a bless to your life. If you can develop loving kindness in a regular basis, if you can experience loving kindness towards your friends, then that will surely be a bliss to your life, because before experiencing any other benefit, you are experiencing the true friendliness within yourself. You are experiencing the true love within yourself. That itself is satisfactory. So I invite you all to study about loving kindness more and try to cultivate loving kindness within yourself by the help of loving kindness meditation, or if you do not like to sit quietly and do meditation for a long time, you can practice loving kindness in your day-to-day life. Okay, time for the Q&A session. I appreciate you all for listening to the Dhamma talk. 1 hour. We started at 8:10. Yeah. Poonam, are you there?
Venerable, should I repeat the question?
Yeah, I could hear the question.
Okay. How is loving kindness important to attitude to life? This is a question raised by Dhamma friend Chit So Ong from Facebook.
How loving kindness can be important for the attitude of life? Is that
Yes,
a question?
yes, attitude to life.
Attitude to life. Okay. So loving kindness, having loving kindness itself is a great attitude that you can have, right? So I explained about this a lot in the Dhamma talk. If you have loving kindness towards your friends, then that itself is a sincere attitude, a great attitude, a praiseworthy attitude. If he or she can see or know that you have loving kindness towards him or her, then he or she will be surely happy to know that, because every one of us expect true love from others, that we are intimate with. We want others to love us truly. So if you can do that by yourself, if you can fulfill that requirement by yourself, then you can be happy about yourself, because you have done your part. We are not expecting from others, but we are doing our part by cultivating loving kindness. So loving kindness itself is a great attitude to have within ourselves. If we look at the long term success in life, if you have loving kindness, one thing is that you can create your plans of your life. You can plan your life depending on loving kindness. Sometimes because we lack loving kindness towards our parents, towards our family members, because of the lack of loving kindness, we make wrong decisions in our life, because we just have attachment towards someone. We ignore all other people who we should love, and who we get love from, and we make wrong decisions in our life that we have to regret later on. So if you have loving kindness, if you are developing loving kindness, then gradually you will truly love your parents, you will truly love your family members, you will truly love your friends. As a result, when you make a decision in your life, your attitude will be not only your happiness, but also their happiness. You'll always think twice before making a decision. You will make less wrong decisions because of those decisions you make thinking about your loved ones. You will surely be happy. Even maybe you will not succeed in that path you choose, but later on you can look back and be satisfied with what you do, because you did it. You made that decision depending on loving kindness, because you truly love someone or a group of people. So you may tend to make correct decisions because of the loving kindness you have towards your parents. If you have loving kindness towards your teachers, because teachers have to do a great sacrifice towards the students. They have to sacrifice time, they have to sacrifice their energy and all. If you truly love your teachers, not just with unwholesome attachment, but if you have loving kindness towards your teachers, then you will tend to study better. Because of that attitude towards your teachers, you will succeed in your education. Then think about your workplace. We obviously have to deal with people, because as social beings we always have to associate people. We cannot live alone. As monks, even as monks, we have to be in a society, monk society. So obviously, every and each person has to live in a society. We are social beings. So when we live in a society, no matter what is the behavior, what is the attitude you choose to have, you should deal with people, you should talk with people, you should work with people. So when you can have any attitude, maybe a bad attitude, wrong attitude, rude attitude, when you have the choice to select any attitude, isn't it better to have loving kindness as your attitude? When you work with your friends in your workplace, if you can work with them with true love, if you can work with them with loving kindness, then surely your work will become easier. You will have less problems because you love them. You will get love back, because as the advantages of loving kindness, Lord Buddha has mentioned, manussanang piyo hoti. Manussanang piyo hoti. This is an advantage of loving kindness practice. Manussanang piyo hoti. You becomes dear to the human beings. If you truly practice loving kindness, if you spread love towards others, they tend to love you. Because as I mentioned earlier, this cannot be explained physically, but if you truly love someone, there tend to be a connection within those two minds, with yourself and with the object of the loving kindness, with the person who you love. So because of that connection, the mind of that person tend to change. It becomes soft, it becomes tender. So if you can spread loving kindness towards every and each person in your workplace, they will eventually love you and you will have less problems. No matter you work in what society, if you can have an attitude full of loving kindness, you will succeed in whatever you do. Yeah, that is my answer for that.
Thank you, Venerable. There is another question from a Dhamma friend from YouTube. Abhisha Shingle is the name. The question is, when someone ignored you, then how can we develop loving kindness for them?
Yeah, very good question. Thank you for the question. So, when someone ignore you, can you still develop loving kindness? This is a difficult thing to do. When you love someone with a true heart, but he or she is continuously ignoring you, can you develop loving kindness? It is difficult, but it is possible. It is not something impossible. What you have to do is, you should not spread loving kindness towards him or her at the beginning. First, you have to take some time and make the conditions for your loving kindness to improve within yourself. First, you have to, as I mentioned, in the practice of loving kindness meditation, it is guided to choose someone dear to you first. And after improving your emotion of loving kindness towards that person who is dear to you, then you can go to the people who are not dear to you, who are neutral, and even to the hostile people. So what you have to do is, first you have to gradually improve your emotion of loving kindness by selecting people. You have to select people who are easy to be spreaded by loving kindness, to be cultivated loving kindness on. When you feel that the emotion of loving kindness is improved within yourself, then you have to spread it. Then you have to focus it on the people, such as people who ignore you. Then, because you have improved it for maybe few days or few hours towards the people who are easy to be spreaded by loving kindness, then your mind will easily focus even on the people who ignore you, and you can cultivate loving kindness towards them also. So this is one thing. First, try to select people who can be easily spreaded by loving kindness, and then go to the difficult people. This is the guidance given in the scriptures. And another thing is that when you develop loving kindness, you will have some negative feelings about people. As it is asked in the question, you will feel like, oh, this person is continuously ignoring me. How can I have love towards him? Or maybe someone is there who has done something wrong to you, and you are having hatred, or maybe just anger or aversion towards him or her. Then that negative emotion will arise in your mind at the time of spreading loving kindness. Then what you have to do is, you have to take few minutes or few seconds to reflect on this thing. You have to remind you that you are not expecting others to love you. You are just loving you without any expectation. If the person who you are trying to love genuinely is ignoring you, still it is not an obstacle for you to love him. If you love a person and you expect him or her to love you back, as I mentioned, it is not genuine loving kindness. There can be loving kindness, but there are some other unwholesome emotions also mixed with loving kindness. So we have to be careful with these defilements, with these unwholesome emotions, because they can behave in disguise of loving kindness, right? Sometimes raga, the lust towards some attachment towards someone, can behave in disguise of loving kindness. You spread loving kindness towards a girl or boy, you think you are spreading loving kindness, but unintentionally, unconsciously, you are developing lust or attachment towards him or her. Because raga is called as the asanna pacchattika in Pali, the close enemy, the closest enemy of loving kindness. It is the enemy of loving kindness, but you cannot recognize raga when it appears, because it's quite similar with loving kindness. Loving kindness also sees the other person as a dear one to you. Raga, or the lust or attachment or desire, is also seen the other person as someone dear to you. With loving kindness, you can wish someone's happiness. With raga also, you can do the same. So you have to be careful when you deal with when you spreading loving kindness towards people dear to you. The raga can act there in disguise of loving kindness. And yeah, so if you are expecting from the other person, expecting love from the other person, then you have to you have to try to reflect on this process, what is happening within yourself. You have to be mindful at the same time. When you practice loving kindness, maybe loving kindness as a meditation, or even in your daily life, it's also important to have mindfulness with you. Otherwise, you will be misguided by your own negative emotions, your own unwholesome emotions. So if you are expecting, then there can be unwholesome emotions mixed with loving kindness. So you have to reflect on this, and you have to remind yourself that if I am sincerely spreading loving kindness, there should not be expectations. I am giving love to others, no matter they give love to me or not. So that should be your mindset when you spread loving kindness to a person who is ignoring you. And eventually, there is a possibility for that person who is ignoring you to change his or her behavior because of the influence of the power of loving kindness. Yeah. So and another thing is that when you when you focus on one person, this does not happen when you focus on a group of people. This happens when you focus on one person. That is why I told you it is very important to focus on a single person, not a group of people. When you focus on a person, then there is a possibility for you to see their negative aspects, the negative sides of them, the words in the past they have told to you that made you the hurt, or the wrong things done by them, or the wrong behaviors they have, bad habits they have. You may remember them all because you are sitting quietly and focusing on one person. As when you focus on yourself, you will remember the negative aspects of yourself, and in the same manner, you will remember some bad aspects of the other person. So what you have to do in such occasions, I'm explaining because this is also related to that question. If you are experiencing such experience, what you have to do is you have to try to focus on the positive sides of that person instead of fully focusing on the negative sides. Your mind will be trying to focus on the negative sides. You have to drive your mind so that you can see the positive aspects of that people, because the proximate cause of loving kindness is seeing people as dear, seeing people as lovable. In Pali, we call it manapa dassana padattana. Manapa dassana padattana. Seeing people as lovable is the proximate cause, the nearest cause for loving kindness. So you have to focus on the positive aspects of that person more and more, the lovable aspects of that person, the things in that person which are dear to you, which are loving. And then you have to think that every and each person in the world can have negative aspects in them. There is not a single person who is perfect. So if you are focusing on the negative aspects, you will not be able to love anyone in this world with a sincere mind. Even our parents and our family members, even our partners can have such mistakes and negative aspects in their lives. So what we have to do when we spread loving kindness is that we forget the negative aspects and we focus on the positive aspects.
Thank you, Bante. We have one more question from a Dhamma friend from YouTube. Dhamma friend Kathy Q has asked the question: do we express loving kindness to our child when the child is upset, mad, frustrated at the moment, anger has taken over? Or should we ground the child, giving time to the child and then explain after? Thank you, Bante.
Okay, this is something that should be asked from a skillful mother or father. You can choose in which way you have to deal with the child in such an occasion, because in both ways, in the both occasions, in the both decisions, as I feel, the mother, the parents are having loving kindness. If your child is misbehaving and you decide to punish, I'm not promoting punishing, but if you decide to punish your child to make as promoting his good behaviors and as making conditions to for his bad behaviors, misbehaviors to reduce, then you are doing it also with loving kindness, because you need your child to be successful in his life. You need your child to be happy in his life. If he continues to have this misbehavior, he will have to suffer in the future. So you decide to maybe give a soft punishment to your child and convince him or her that you should not do this, you should not continue doing this, and you should stop this. That is also loving kindness. That is not because if you ask that mother or father at that time, he will surely say that I did that with love, because love I did that, because that is also loving kindness. And if you choose to not give a punishment to your child and give him or her time to change by herself or himself, still that is also loving kindness. In a loving kindness, but the approach is different. In both places, loving kindness is there. Loving kindness is there. That's why I told loving kindness is not just reciting the statements related to loving kindness. It is not just sitting quietly and focusing on someone and wishing him to be happy, but it can also be there in every and each work we do in our day-to-day life. When a mother wakes up in the morning, and when she goes to the kitchen, and when she cooks and do all the works in the house, everywhere there can be loving kindness towards her family members. So when you raise a child, every and each decision you make, even to punish him, can be punishing in there are many types of punishments, right? Not only physical punishment. So every and each decision can be made out of loving kindness. But at the moment of doing physical punishment, you will of course have aversion. You cannot hit someone with loving kindness. Maybe you make the decision with loving kindness, but when you do that, there will be some negative emotions within yourself, and you will also be hurt by hurting your child. But the background is loving kindness. So at the moment of doing that action, there can be other unwholesome qualities also, unwholesome emotions also. Maybe you will be regretting later on for what you did, but it is possible that the decision made to punish your child in a positive manner is made out of loving kindness. So it is the approach. The difference is on the approach. You decide to punish, or you decide to give him or her time. But both of these decisions can be taken out of loving kindness. It is up to you what to do, what to select out of these two choices. So nowadays it is discussed comprehensively that punishing is not good. So because physical punishment is not recommended nowadays, so it is up to you to select what to do. But what I want to say is that you can decide anything about your child out of loving kindness. The approach can be different. Yeah. Any other questions?
No, Bhante. There's no other question. So with that, we conclude today's Dhamma sharing, and we look forward to meeting you with more insightful Dhamma sharings in the coming weeks. Let's keep our palms together, close to our hearts, and pay respect to Venerable Vijitanandabhivamsa with 3 sadhus. May you always be well, happy, and healthy, dear Venerable. Sabbi tiyo vivajjantu, sab rogo vinasatu, mate bhavatvantharayo, sukhi digayu ko bhava. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. See you again next week at the same time. Good night and Theruvan Saranai.